All right, today we are jumping headfirst into the AI gold rush. We're going to talk about the incredible hype, the nonstop hustle to make a buck, and, yeah, the hard realities of this technology that people don't always want to talk about. So let's dig in.
I mean, who doesn't, right? And that simple question is the promise that's fueling this whole frenzy. You see pitches like this everywhere, and they're not selling complex code or algorithms. They're selling time. They're selling a solution to the chaos of modern life. It's a simple, super powerful hook that works on just about everyone.
And that simple promise? It has launched an absolutely massive, multi-billion-dollar gold rush. You've got entrepreneurs, you've got tech giants. Everyone is scrambling to stake their claim. But behind that curtain of slick marketing, there's a much more complicated story. So today, we're going to explore that hustle, the tough realities, and what it all really means for our future.
So first, let's just try to get a handle on the sheer scale of this explosion. Because the speed and the breadth of AI adoption, well, it's pretty much unlike anything we have ever seen before. This quote from a Reddit user just perfectly captures the spirit of the moment. There's this feeling that opportunities are literally everywhere, just waiting to be picked up by anyone who can see a problem and figure out how to apply this new tech to solve it.
And look, this isn't just a feeling. It's not just hype. The numbers are staggering. We're talking about a massive market reality. Since ChatGPT burst onto the scene, consumer AI has become a $12 billion market. That's in just 2.5 years. The speed of that growth is just incredible.
So, who's actually using all this stuff? You might think it's all Gen Z, and yeah, they are leading the pack in overall adoption. But the data tells a more interesting story. It's actually millennials who are the true power users, the ones who are really integrating AI into their daily lives. And hey, don't count out the older generations. Nearly half of all baby boomers have already given AI a try.
But the most engaged group of all? This might actually surprise you. It's parents. They're using AI at nearly twice the rate of non-parents. And why is that? Well, this quote from a working mom says it all. They're using it to manage the relentless complexity of family life. Everything from meal planning to homework to, just making a packing list.
Okay, now let's pull back the curtain. We've seen the massive user adoption, but what about the technology itself? Because behind all those simple, shiny sales pitches lies a world of incredible complexity and a growing disconnect between the people building this stuff and the people buying it.
This piece of blunt feedback from a business owner on Reddit just cuts right to the heart of the problem. Businesses don't want to hear about agentic frameworks or large language models. They don't care about the jargon. They just want solutions. They want their problems solved. There is a huge communication gap opening up between the tech world and the real world.
And this diagram right here perfectly illustrates that disconnect. A really simple request from you, like plan a family vacation, triggers this unbelievably complex system called an AI agent. You can see it's a constant loop. It starts with perception, just understanding what you want. Then it has to tap into its knowledge and memory. The core of it all is the reasoning engine, where it thinks through the options, and then finally it takes action, like booking a flight. And then it learns from that result, and the whole loop starts all over again. It's this incredibly sophisticated process that's totally hidden from us, the user, who just wants a simple answer.
So, what happens when you take this powerful, complex, and sometimes kind of fragile technology and just unleash it into the messy, unpredictable real world? Well, that is where the hype collides with some very hard realities.
The promise is often deeply personal. Companies pitch AI not just as a tool, but as a confidant, right? A companion that's designed to build a relationship with you. Basically, a friend in your pocket.
But the reality, well, it can be fraught with peril. Take Snap's My AI chatbot. It faced intense scrutiny, and complaints about its interactions with young users actually led to a referral to the Department of Justice. The chatbot was giving out some seriously problematic advice, which just highlights the immense responsibility that comes with deploying these systems.
And then you have the simple reality of market confusion. So, while one company is pitching My AI as your new virtual best friend, another company is using the exact same name for an app that, well, it controls high-end aquarium lighting. You can't make this stuff up. It's a perfect snapshot of the chaotic, anything-goes nature of this AI gold rush.
And this chaos goes way beyond just one app's name. The mad rush to deploy AI has opened up a total minefield of ethical challenges. We're not forced to confront the long-term impacts these technologies have on society, the diverse cultural perspectives that a single model might just ignore, and the complex regulatory needs to protect users, especially young ones. It's a massive, massive balancing act.
And these aren't just theoretical risks. We have a growing list of high-profile failures that show exactly what happens when AI goes wrong. We've seen massive privacy violations, like Cambridge Analytica harvesting data without consent. We've seen systemic bias baked right into hiring tools at Amazon and even justice system algorithms. And we've seen cases of outright deception, like Uber's tool designed to actively evade law enforcement. These are stark reminders of the very real-world consequences.
So all of these collisions are forcing a really critical question. How do we build a safer, more responsible AI? How do we tame the algorithm and align it with human values before it's deployed, not after everything goes wrong?
Well, one of the most promising approaches is something called constitutional AI. The core idea is to move beyond just training AI on raw data and instead actually bake in a set of foundational principles, a constitution, if you will, that guides its behavior and makes sure it aligns with our values.
So how does this work in practice? Well, instead of just throwing raw data at a model, first you encode the rules, like a real constitution that sets the boundaries. Then those principles are integrated right into the data the AI learns from, so it's not just learning in a vacuum. Before the AI gives an answer, its output gets validated against those core principles. And this is the critical part. It's not a one-time fix. There's a constant feedback loop with human experts to keep refining the whole system. It's about being proactive.
But building better models is really only half the battle. We also need to completely rethink how the data that fuels these models is collected. For decades, the default has been opt out, meaning your data is collected automatically unless you actively hunt down a way to stop it. The push now is for a fundamental shift to opt in, putting the control back in our hands.
So, where does all of this leave us? In a world that's being rapidly reshaped by AI, what's our role? And what does the immediate future even hold?
This question, pulled from a Reddit discussion, just perfectly captures the widespread anxiety of this moment. People are genuinely concerned about how AI is going to affect their jobs, their security, and their future. This conversation has moved from being theoretical to being deeply personal.
And the pace of change is definitely not slowing down. In just the next 2 years, experts are predicting that AI will leap from being an assistant to being an automator, managing entire complex workflows for us. Get ready for voice AI to become so good it's our main way of talking to technology, and for physical AI, I'm talking actual robots, to finally enter our homes and start tackling household chores. And that brings us to our final and maybe most crucial point. These systems are not being built in a vacuum. They are learning from us, from our data, our questions, our biases, and our behaviors. Every single interaction is a lesson. So as we navigate this AI gold rush, the most important question isn't just what can AI do for us, but what are we collectively teaching it to become?